16, this is the ROM. The launch team wishes you good luck and Godspeed.
Well, we appreciate that. We can't do without you.
This is Kennedy Launch Control. Launch Operations Manager Paul Donnelly just called the three astronauts and said that the Apollo 16 launch team wishes them good luck and Godspeed. They all replied thank you, and we now have a quiet circuit as they switch over to the Astrocom circuit. We're now T-minus 3 minutes, 24 seconds and counting. We're approaching the time when the countdown goes on the terminal sequencer. The sequencer commands a variety of functions, all which must occur in the proper sequence for the count to continue. Also here in the control center, the people will continue to monitor what are called the red line values to ensure that everything is go for launch. The instrument unit light, panel light now on the status board indicates instrument unit ready, spacecraft ready, emergency detection system ready. We've passed the 2 minute 50-second mark, and we're now on the terminal sequencer. The terminal sequencer has started. This terminal sequencer will pressurize the fuel tanks. These fuel tanks are pressurized to ensure that as the fuels deplete, they are forced down to assure an even flow into the engine. Fuel tanks are now being pressurized. The S4B, or third stage liquid oxygen tank, has just been pressurized, and the second stage liquid oxygen tank has been pressurized. As we move down through the count at the T-minus 17-second mark, we'll get a release of the guidance system in the instrument unit. Also handled by the automatic sequencer will be the release of swing arms number 1 and number 2. The ignition of the Saturn V engines, the first stage 5 engines, will take place at 8.9 seconds in the countdown, 8.9 seconds. The engines will, or the vehicle will then be held down until we build up to 7.7 million pounds of thrust. At the T-minus 3 minute mark, tape recorders on board the spacecraft were turned on. These recorders record both voice and data. Spacecraft now to full internal cooling. Cooling load has been shared with the ground cooling. T-minus 90 seconds and counting. T-minus 90 seconds and counting. At T-minus 1 minute 15 seconds, the spacecraft batteries will be turned on for launch. These batteries will give an additional power source to the spacecraft, as well as be acting as a backup for the fuel cells. The third stage liquid hydrogen tanks now pressurized. All third stage tanks pressurized. Second stage tanks also pressurized.
1 minute.
T-minus 1 minute. T-minus 1 minute and counting. Now moving into the final minute of the count. We'll be standing by for the switch over to internal power. Switch over taking place at this time, going on internal power. T-minus 45 seconds and counting. Guidance aligned, just announced by John Young. That will be the last action taken by the crew aboard the spacecraft. T-minus 35 and counting. Continuing to go well. T-minus 30. T-minus 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, guidance release, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9,
Sequences started. Engines are on.
start.
5, 4.
The engine's now building up to 7.7 million pounds of
All
thrust.
engines running. Launch, can we have a liftoff?
We have a launch commit and we have a liftoff. The swing arm is moving back. The Saturn V lifting off the alpha pad, building up thrust. We cleared the tower.
Roger, clear the tower.
Houston is now controlling.
Oh, yeah, that's not bad. Roger.
Control program started good. 16 now moving to a proper flight path attitude. Mark 27 seconds. Seconds, roll program completed, pitch profile still in progress, 40 seconds. Mark 50 seconds, cabin pressure relieving, adjusting now from sea level to a space environment, 2 nautical miles in altitude.
Stand by, hold 1 Bravo. Roger, Mark, 1 Bravo. Jeremy, wet now, 16.
That call up from Capcom Gordon Fullerton says Apollo 16 now capable of water landing. Mark 1 minute 12 seconds, coming up on period of maximum aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle. One minute 22 seconds, 6 nautical miles in altitude, looking good. Mark 1 minute 30 seconds, 8 nautical miles in altitude. Mark 1 minute 41 seconds. Pass through max Q, still looking good.
Get through max Q and everything looks good.
16 now, 12.5 nautical miles in altitude. Young Duke Mattingly moving out to the outer traces of the Earth's atmosphere.
Stand by for mode 1 Charlie.
Roger, we're
Mark 1 Charlie.
Mark 2 minutes 3 seconds. A status check and mission control by Flight Director Gene Krantz. A go, no go for staging. Coming up on center engine shutdown.
Roger, inboard, you're go for staging.
Center engine shutdown on time. 2 minutes 28 seconds, 26 nautical miles in altitude, 32 nautical miles downrange. 2 minutes 35 seconds. 2 minutes 40 seconds, coming up on staging.
Staging. Okay, ignition on the S2.
Roger.
2 minutes 53 seconds, a normal staging. Young Duke Mattingly now riding on 5 good second stage engines.
Go on all 5 on the S2.
3 minutes 2 seconds, the giant first stage falling away now. It's a day's work completed. Apollo 16 now 46 nautical miles in altitude, 80 nautical miles downrange. Coming up on skirt sep and tower jettison.
Wrong time.
Roger.
Tower jettison.
Roger, and we confirm your skirt sep, your mode 2 now.
Roger, mode 2.
3 minutes 28 seconds. The launch escape tower is ejected on time. Its surveillance role no longer required.
Steering has converged, CMC is go.
Roger.
Mark 3 minutes 45 seconds. Apollo 16 now 62 nautical miles in altitude, 135 nautical miles downrange. Apollo 16 now 33 feet shorter and 9,000 pounds lighter. Unencumbered now for its mission in space.
16 Houston, 4 minutes, everything looks great down here.
Roger, looks good up here too. Hey, Gordy, you ought to see that horizon, just gorgeous.
Mark 4 minutes 10 seconds. 70 nautical miles in altitude, 170 nautical miles downrange. Velocity now reading 10,600 feet per second.